Just in time for those fall apples. Grand Girl's fresh apple cake. This is one of the best fresh apple cakes that you'll find out there. It's filled with apples, coconut, pecans, and a delicious, heavenly buttermilk soak. Welcome back. I know you're going to like this recipe, and I hope you'll do it in your home. When you do like it, though, you hit that thumbs up. Also, if you are new, hit subscribe and hit those notifications so that you get all of our recipes as they post. You don't even have to pull out your mixer for this fresh apple cake. Now, let's stir this up. Let me show you what you'll need for this Grand Girl's fresh apple cake. It's going to start with 3 apples. For the cake batter, you will need 2 cups of sugar, 3 eggs, 1.5 cups of oil, a 1/4 cup of orange juice. You're going to need 3 cups of all-purpose flour, 1 teaspoon baking soda, 1 tablespoon of ground cinnamon, and a tablespoon of vanilla extract. We're going to be using paste. And let's not forget our salt. We're going to need a 1/4 teaspoon of salt. We'll also need 1 cup of pecans and 1 cup of coconut. For the soak, we are going to need a 1/2 cup of buttermilk. We need a 1/2 cup of butter. We need 1 cup of sugar, and we need a 1/2 teaspoon of baking soda. You'll need to preheat your oven to 325 degrees, and you want to liberally, do it good, grease your bundt pan. I have used Baker's Joy, and I did give it a good spray. And then set this aside. You'll need 3 Granny Smith apples. Now, I have washed these really good, and I'm going to peel them. They'll need to be in a fine chop. You can even grate them if you want to. I don't know what kind of peeler you have in your home. This is the peeler that I was raised with. It was in my granny's home, and I have used it ever since. It's my favorite. I've tried the other ones, and they just don't work in my hands. Don't you love it when that happens? Guys, it is apple season in North Carolina. Last year we were up in Hendersonville and they had the apples galore, all kinds of varieties. It was the most best thing I have seen in a long time. You will want these cut up, your apples, into a fine chop. As you can see here, I have very fine pieces. The apples are chopped. We're going to set this over to the side. To the flour, we're going to add the salt, the baking soda, and the cinnamon. And give this a good whisk and set this over to the side. I'm going to work on that batter for the Grand Girl's fresh apple cake. Grab yourself that mixing bowl. You're going to add to it your sugar. You don't need a mixer for this one. It's Grand Girls. You need the eggs. Now it says to add these ingredients in this order, so that's what I'm going to do. My sister had suggested that I make this cake. She absolutely loves it. This is the oil, and you know, anytime a cake calls for oil, you're going to have a moist cake. Your orange juice and your vanilla. I'm going to give this a quick whisk, and then we're going to add in the flour. I love using the vanilla paste. It has like little flecks of vanilla in here. Come here and let me show you. You see those little flecks of vanilla? Oh, that's going to be so good. We're going to add our flour to these wet ingredients, and we're going to stir this all together. You can by all means use your mixer for this part if you want to, but if I can stir up a cake, honey, that is right down my alley. You will want to scrape off your sides. Make sure you get all of that flour into mixed in with your wet ingredient. All of that is mixed into our batter. And guys, look at the color of that batter. Does that not scream fall? We're going to start folding in. First, we're going to add our apples, then our pecans or pecans, depending on where you're at. Tomatoes. I have roasted my nuts as well as I toasted my coconut. Guys, this brings so much more flavor to your nuts, and roasting your coconut also brings out so much more flavor. So it brings out the oils that equal flavor. You're going to fold all this together. Look at all of that texture. There is not going to be one bite that is going to be short of flavor or texture. This is all mixed together. We're going to need to add this to our butt pan now. This is a thick batter, guys, and that's exactly the way it's supposed to be. This is when you wish you had more than two arms. You'll want to scrape every bit of that goodness out of your mixing bowl. And then you're just going to take your spatula and even this out. Guys, I'm going to give it a little shake as well. You know that will help level it out. I got a mess on my hand here. Oh, good tasting mess too, honey. This is going into that preheated oven. Again, that was 325 degrees. It's going to be for approximately an hour and a half until it passes the cake test. Our grand girl's fresh apple cake is almost done. We're going to work on that heavenly buttermilk soap. So you'll start with your butter in a saucepan. So we're going to melt this. To the butter, you're going to add 1 cup of sugar. You will add a half a teaspoon of baking soda and 1 cup of buttermilk. This is going to bring the twang to this cake. And you know buttermilk is the epitome of Southern. You'll bring this to a boil for 1 minute. This nice rolling boil here, guys, we're going to let this go for 1 minute. Our heavenly sauce is done. I'm going to move this over to the side and we're going to pour that Grand Girl's fresh apple cake out of the oven. My grand girl's fresh apple cakes out of the oven, and this house smells delightful. So now we're going to pour that buttermilk soak over top of it while it's still hot. Just pour this heavenly buttermilk sauce over your cake. Guys, this is going to soak into this cake for about an hour before we turn it out and slice it. Can you imagine this sweet buttermilk, apple, cinnamon goodness that this cake is going to bring to the table? I'm going to poke a couple holes in it. I'm just going to help that sauce get down into that cake a little bit deeper. I'm just using one of my barbecue skewers. You could use whatever you want to poke yours, or you don't have to at all. You can have patience and let it soak in. I just don't have any patience. How beautiful is that? We're going to let this set for 1 hour, and we're going to come back and we're going to get into this grand girl's fresh apple cake. Our grand girl's fresh apple cake is full, and now we're going to turn it out. So just grab your favorite plate, and we're going to invert this, and we're going to cross our fingers and give a drum roll and all that other good stuff that it comes out without breaking. How beautiful is that? All this needs is a fork. I'll be right back with that. This grand girl's fresh apple cake is so moist. If you could see this soak on here, I can hardly wait to have a bite. Come over and take a look. Look at how moist this fresh apple cake is. Look at that bite. Smells so good. Guys, I can't even tell you, but I'm going to. The apples, the pecans, the coconut, that soap that we put on it. This is one delightful cake. Guys, I hope that you will try this recipe in your home, that you'll share it with your friends. Also, don't forget, give us that thumbs up. Don't cost you anything. Hit subscribe if you're new here and hit those notifications so that you get all of our recipes as they post. And until next time, God bless and take care.